The Kennedy Center's board of trustees voted to inscribe President Trump's name on the building. They want it back up there. According to the New York Times, restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump would be placed beneath the main signage. The board directed officials to undertake all legal means to honor Trump for bringing the center back from the brink of disaster. You will remember that a federal judge ordered the removal of Donald Trump's name from the exterior of the building back in June, which they did. Behind a tarp, you see it right there. Nearly 2 months later, that tarp is still up, and the Kennedy Center is currently appealing the decision. Joining us, MS Now legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher. Stuart Stevens is back with us. Who is on this board?
This is a board of a number of different people, including Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who actually brought the successful lawsuit against Trump's changes to the Kennedy Center, but it's led by Trump loyalists. And so the way that this board has really shifted recently is basically what the president wants. And what they did today is it's not immediately clear if this is a violation of the letter of the judge's ruling, but it's certainly a violation of the spirit of the judge's ruling.
Is it because instead of having the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, it's now going to be the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump?
And that's the thing. And it's not immediately clear what this sign is going to look like. It's whether it's going to be smaller text below or part of the name. But the judge was really explicit at the end of May when he said, you cannot name this after anybody other than John F. Kennedy. And that's because that is in a congressional statute. That statute says this is the only person who this can be named after. Any signage has to be JFK's name. It can't be Trump's name. But what it also appears that they did, based off of a statement from the lawyers who actually brought this lawsuit, is that they also want to rename the plaza. And that, to me, almost feels like it could become more problematic because that, you can make the argument, is establishing some sort of a memorial in honor of somebody else, which the statute also prohibits. This is literally a living memorial for John F. Kennedy Jr., nobody else.
So does the judge just step in and say, hey, you're violating my order? Or what is the process to getting this resolved?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the docket. So far, I haven't seen anything there. I'm waiting because I would imagine that the lawyers here are going to file some sort of a notice to the court saying, hey, Judge Cooper, here's what happened today in the board meeting. Here's what they ruled. We think that this violates your order. And then that'll probably set off some briefing and a hearing and all of this stuff. But this is certainly, it's going to test the order because they are really going up to the line of whether or not this is something that they can do. And right now it seems like this is probably a violation of Judge Cooper's order.
Stu, when is enough enough?
Never for Donald Trump. That's the thing.
He froze. Apparently enough was enough right there. We'll get him back. It just seems like Donald Trump, whenever he has, this has been under the radar for a while now. We haven't been talking about the Kennedy Center. The name got removed. It's covered in tarps still.
And that's the thing. The tarp is still there. And that tarp has been there since June.
Why is the tarp still there?
We don't know. And we were supposed to get answers about this in July. Basically, what happened here is that the judge requested some briefing, and he wanted this by July. The board meeting that happened today apparently was supposed to happen in the middle of July. He wanted it right after that. That board meeting was postponed. So now the good news is that we are probably going to get some answers on why the tarp is still there in the next 5 days.
Are there any theories about why the tarp is still there? Because his name is maybe still on it? Or are they doing some work behind there? Has anybody heard drills or
It's
hammering?
very unclear what's behind the tarp. And I'll tell you, I went there at the last week of June when the tarp was, the question started arising. Why is this tarp still here? You cannot see anything on the sides. I got so close to the building. It's not just a front tarp. You can kind of tell in this video, it is a side tarp too. His name has allegedly been removed, but from what you can see there, you have no real way of
Can I ask you a personal question? I mean, you're down in D.C. What's it like as Donald Trump is gilding statues and digging out the East Wing, trying to put his name on this, like the iconic places of your city being either destroyed or covered up?
I mean, almost every single one of these construction projects has been targeted by a lawsuit. And most of these lawsuits are brought by everyday people who are saying that they are harmed by seeing these sites, harmed by seeing the change in the reflecting pool. At first, it was just about the color, but now, of course, there's the algae and the peeling and all of that stuff. Harmed by seeing a hole in the ground where there used to be the East Wing of the White House. People are upset about this, and that's why they're going to the courts.
What about the National Guard still on the streets?
I mean, that's still been there. That was the subject of a lawsuit. It seems
Everything's the subject of a lawsuit.
Everything is the subject of a lawsuit. Honestly, I start grouping them. Like, is this a construction lawsuit? Is this a potentially political prosecution lawsuit? Because there are so many, and they all fit into these big categories.
Do you expect there to be congressional investigations if the Democrats get back into power? Are they going to start trying to look into these construction moves by the president?
I would not be surprised if that's something they do. I think many members of Congress have signaled that. Of course, in this case, challenging the Kennedy Center, a congresswoman from Ohio is the lead plaintiff.
On finances, I know there's a lot of talk about how he's paying for all this, a lot of it coming from taxpayer money. Does his fighting the lawsuits also end up spending taxpayer money?
Presumably it does, because the Department of Justice is, representing him in his official capacity as the president. Presumably it does.
All right. Fallon Gallagher, thanks so much.